has a kill counter, but it does not seem to be able to be used as a melee weapon. Just like how you can get kills with the small ammo kit, you cannot do that. All right, so hello gamers and welcome back to another BattleBit Remastered video. At rank 100, you actually unlock 4 very special things, those being the Riot Shield, yes, the Riot Shield, the Desert Eagle, the Ultimax 100, and the Intervention. So you're getting 4 different items, and today I wanted to talk about each of these and showing you what they do, and I think it's really cool that you get so many items at one rank. But yeah, we're going to talk about if these are any good. So the first one we should talk about is the Riot Shield. Now, it says I get 2. That's not actually true, but as you can see, I can block a lot of damage. Now, I'm not exactly sure how much damage it is. I haven't tested it. As far as I know, it seems to not break. And I'm not sure if it blocks frag grenades because I've tried to get the other team to shoot at me and it's not really working. Hey guys, can you just shoot me? Don't shoot the Riot Shield. Okay, they shot me in the back. So it doesn't block your full body, so people can shoot you in the foot. You can't really look down, and if people shoot you in the back, it kills you. So is this a good item? Well, yes and no. It has a kill counter, but it does not seem to be able to be used as a melee weapon. Just like how you can get kills with the small ammo kit, you cannot do that. So yeah, you can't hit people with it. It would be cool if you could for like a tiny amount of damage. But yeah, it's pretty funny. It blocks a decent amount of your screen, but it also blocks a decent amount of damage. I don't think it's going to be that effective unless you're playing with a friend and you're very close to each other and helping each other out. Really cool item, but I've only seen one person use it in game, but I did hide behind them and used it to do a pretty decent job at avoiding some people. But yeah, next up we have the Desert Eagle. Now the Desert Eagle is a really interesting pistol, which might honestly be the best pistol in the entire game because it does a lot of damage. It is essentially the highest damage gun in the entire game. When it comes to body damage, it's higher than any sniper rifle in close range. Now it has the same damage drop profile as the other pistols in the game, same as even like the USP and the Glock for some reason. It is kind of annoying, but that's just an issue with the ranges in this game. But yeah, it does 90 body damage and 40 damage to light armor vehicles, making it really good for taking out vehicles. A lot better than you'd expect because like it's beating out even stuff like the Scar only does 6 versus 40. It's crazy. It also has really good velocity at 600, but it has quite a bit of drop. At about 30 meters, you're going to drop down to 22 min at 100. And also, it only has a 1.25 headshot multi like every other secondary in the game, which means that it only does 108 headshot. So on some helmets, like for example, this helmet here gives me 12 durability. You wouldn't be able to one-tap people. Luckily, if people get shot in the head one time before that by any gun, even if they get healed up, they're going to have that helmet gone, which means that you're going to be able to kill him, which is super lucky because imagine if you couldn't. This gun would be pretty bad if you couldn't do that. Also in close range, this can 2-tap anybody. That does include, and it has higher velocity than many guns in this game. Highest velocity of any secondary by a long shot, basically like 2 times. However, wow, okay, that is not how this gun is supposed to work. But yeah, this only has 150 RPM, but as you can see, if somebody's damaged at all, or if you're hitting them in the head and they don't have a helmet on, yeah, it's going to be a 1-tap. Now, it only has 150 RPM, and the recoil is really bad, and the iron sights are some of the worst in the entire game. Now, I do say that a lot when I'm talking about guns in this game, but I just think the iron sights in this game need a little bit of a rework. And I'll show you guys how bad the iron sights are because I'm telling you, it's really difficult. When you're normally using the irons, you're like, those are not too bad, but then the recoil makes it so only your first shot is really capable of seeing anything. You can't really fire this gun very fast at all. You basically get one attempt to hit them in the head, and when the gun doesn't like 1-tap to the body or anything, yeah, it's gonna be annoying. It's kind of bad. And it also has 50 less RPM than the Unica, way more recoil than the Unica, but it has the same capacity and stuff. Honestly, is it a better gun than the Unica? Well, it's really debatable. I'd actually say overall, yes, it is a better gun than the Unica, but there is one thing that actually makes it way worse than the Unica in a way that you would not expect. And that is actually the walk speed of the gun. Now, the walk speed in this game is really interesting because it actually just puts together all of the walk speed modifiers of every item you have and uses that to calculate your overall walking speed. And this one only has a 1.0 running speed versus the Unica and basically every other secondary in the entire game, which has a 1.1. So you will run about 10% slower than any other secondary. Is that going to make or break your setup? honestly, it definitely has a massive impact, and it can be pretty annoying. For example, this guy here, he's probably running some medium armor and stuff, and maybe a heavier gun than me, but he's actually running a decent amount faster, and I'm running an AUG, which has a pretty decent walking speed as well. So that's something you really got to keep in mind. If you're not somebody who runs your secondary that often, if you use it only in a pinch, you're going to want to actually not run this gun, because it's going to have a passive debuff to your overall movement, and if you don't use it enough, it's not going to be worth that, you know what I mean? So go for the unicut if you want that, but if you do run your secondary quite a bit, if you need your secondary, maybe you're running like a sniper rifle or something, I do recommend the Desert Eagle over the unicut for that. But also, if you don't hit your headshots, the unicut is going to be a 2-tap a lot of the time as well, and have high rate of fire and lower recoil. So I'd say overall, surprisingly, these two are pretty balanced. You'd expect the Deagle to be way better, but it's really not. It definitely has its advantages, and overall, I'd say it is definitely a better gun, but it really does depend, because a lot of people just don't even really run their secondary in this game, which I definitely understand. Like, I don't have that many secondary kills. My most kills of any secondary is only like 60 on the unicut, and I really like the unicut, but like, definitely a good reason to use this one as well. But if you don't hit headshots like crazy, and you just want more fire rate, lower recoil, and less drawbacks to, you know, not using the gun all the time, the unicut is definitely for you in that case. I'd say overall, yeah, they're pretty balanced. But next up, we have the Ultimax 100. Now, the Ultimax 100 is a really interesting 100 round drum mag fed, not belt fed, but drum mag fed, and that actually has a pretty big advantage. Light machine gun. Now, it has really low recoil, but we'll talk about the other stats because it has some downsides for sure. This gun does 29 damage, which is not too bad. It's a little bit less than the M249. It does a little bit more light armor damage though, and it has way more vertical recoil, but basically no horizontal recoil, but it has a very high first shot kick of 2 times. And the main thing that I really don't like about it is that it has a fire rate of 600, so 100 less than the M249, and it's the same as the MG36, but the MG36 has 34 damage, being able to 3-hit kill body and 2-hit kill head, versus this one, which is going to be a 4-hit, 3-hit kill head, and like a 5-hit kill on armor. So yeah, when compared to the M249, which is the real comparison here because it's the only other 100 round gun, this one has a little bit better overall accuracy, but higher first shot kick, lower damage, lower rate of fire. But of course, since it's drum mag fed, it actually has a slightly faster reload time. It's not the craziest reload speed you've ever seen or anything, but it's actually pretty noticeable, especially with you holding R, which is pretty quick, you know? So, is this a gun that's actually worth trying out? Well, if you get to rank 100, yeah, it's worth trying out, but I think, honestly, you're probably going to be better off if you're just running the M249, because the M249, it just has that damage per second. In fact, it's basically like a 100 round M4 statistically. Same fire rate, same damage. This is going to have some of the worst TTK in the whole game. So overall, I would give this one, I gave it a 4 out of 5 in my LMG ranking video, and I think it has its effectiveness as a very good spray down gun, because it's actually the gun that you can fire for the longest in a row. Since it fires 10 rounds per second and has 100 rounds, yes, you can fire it for 10 seconds uninterrupted, which is pretty crazy. And it has basically lower recoil and a faster reload than the M249. So overall, I would say the M249 is probably going to be a better pick, but if you don't already laser people with the M249, I guess you can use this one too, because it's pretty accurate. I just don't know where this dude is. But try it out for yourself once you reach rank 100, because maybe it's worth it for you. Keep in mind that once you get a tactical barrel and a vertical grip on this gun, it's going to be perfectly accurate. Right now, the vertical recoil is going to be pretty crazy. You could also use the stable grip if you want the better first shot accuracy. Why does Windows always tell me I need to set up my device? I've had this computer for like 2 years, bro. But now we have the last gun on our list, which is the Intervention, also known as the M200. Now, this has the highest base damage of any sniper rifle in the whole game. So does that damage make an impact? Well, yes, in a lot of situations, 100%. This is the only sniper in the game that can actually one-tap against a exo helmet, which is the support helmet that's extremely large and has a ton of health. Normally, you can't one-shot headshot a full health player with the exo armor. It also has the highest velocity of any sniper in the game, and it has 100% accuracy. Now, the downsides of this one is that the aiming time, even with the Ranger barrel on the L96, is still like 0.23. This one is 0.33, so it's pretty long, and it doesn't technically actually do the most L armor damage, but it doesn't really matter that much. And it's also not the fastest fired sniper. It says it has a bolting speed of 0.8, but it's actually probably faster than the starting ones that have 1.0. Pretty goofy for sure. It's not as fast as the L96, which also has a 1.0. That's just because the bolt action stat in this game is is not really the most understandable stat, and I think it's just bugged right now. Basically, this gun can one-tap basically anybody at any range, which is really good. And unless you're hitting like heavy or normal armor, it can actually one-tap people body shot at literally any range after about 1,000 meters. You just have to hit people from really far away. But after that, it is going to be a one-shot kill, which is amazing. It also has extremely fast muzzle velocity, which basically makes the gun feel like it's hit scan. You tap and they're hit immediately. Just keep in mind that you do need a long or a ranger barrel to get that one tap, which is annoying. And yeah, it's the only sniper that can do that anyway, so it doesn't really matter. The other ones can only go up to 71.5, and I think it needs to be at least 72 to get a one-tap. So just keep that in mind. You won't be one-tapping people at the start, but of course, the Ranger Barrel is the best way to go anyway, so just wait for that. But yeah, is this the best sniper rifle in the whole game? Yes and no. For me, I would say that this is my second favorite sniper in the game, but it's really hard to say. I'd say that this one is definitely the best long-range sniper, but if you play a little bit more aggressively, a little bit closer to medium range, you're gonna want the L96 because that one just bolts faster and holds more rounds, but I forgot I didn't have the Deagle. That was the Glock, and it does no damage. But yeah, this gun does a ton of damage. It is 100% going to be the best sniper in the game for long-range sniping, or even close-range sniping. It just depends on what you prefer from your sniper rifle. It also has a walking speed, though, of 0.81 versus this one, which is 1.05 when you're running the short mag. That's why the L96 is so great, is because it walks really fast. Obviously, it's all up to you. Do you prefer the aiming speed? Do you prefer the walking speed? Or do you prefer damage? And me personally, I don't know. I'm pretty torn. I do think the L96 is going to be the more overall fun, aggressive sniper. But yeah, gamers, if you guys did enjoy, make sure to like and subscribe if you're new. But I will see you guys in the next one. Peace. Have a nice day.